counsel for Sam Bankman-Fried appeared blindsided by FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried's decision to appear in a Bahamas court Monday, reportedly calling this morning's proceedings, quote, shocking and premature. Weekend reports suggested Bankman-Fried had changed his mind and was not going to challenge extradition to the United States. Reuters reporting Bankman-Fried's attorney, Jerome Roberts, requested to see the U.S. indictment, which is a curious ask given the indictment has been public for nearly 1 week. Joining us now to discuss is CoinDesk's regulatory reporter, Cheyenne Ligon. Cheyenne, thanks for joining us. So what happened today in court?
Yeah, I mean, you about summed it up. I wasn't there, so I'm catching up on all the reporting. But it sounds like it was a pretty crazy day in the Bahamas today. Like you said, it seems like Sam's lawyers were shocked. It seems like the prosecution denied that they had anything to do with getting him there. They said that it wasn't requested by either their local prosecutors or U.S. prosecutors, and everybody just seemed a little confused as to what was happening or why it was happening. So after about 10 minutes of it just being sort of a mess, according to local reporting, the judge was like, look, take a minute and go talk to your attorneys because, we don't really understand what's going on. So there was a recess. And when they came back, the judge dismissed everybody and said that it was just a waste of time.
Yeah, I'm looking at local reports from the Bahamas Eyewitness News saying that it was a wasted day, by all accounts, by the prosecutors and the judge, dubbing it a waste of time, as you mentioned. And now Sam Bankman-Fried was supposed to be in prison until about February, awaiting a U.S. extradition hearing. Has that changed?
So I think that they've set a new date now for January 17th. That's my understanding, which is a lot sooner than February 8th, but it's still not obviously happening as quickly as Sam wants it to happen. Extradition is a process, it's a legal process, and it does typically take a while. So, in all likelihood, he will be spending the holidays and into the new year in prison, regardless of whether he decides to fight extradition or not.
Well, it's a little confusing because over the weekend we heard reports that he was not going to contest U.S. extradition. Is that still up in the air?
Well, if he showed up today in court to say that he was ready to go back to the U.S., then in all likelihood, he's not fighting extradition anymore and he is ready to go back. But that is still a process. It's not like they can say, okay, well, the next flight is on American Airlines and we'll get you on it. It is a process.
What comes next, Cheyenne?
So he'll have that hearing in January, or at least that's what's scheduled. But like we saw today, who knows? I mean, he could end up in front of the magistrate judge again sooner than that. But at least as far as the calendar is concerned, January 17th is when we'll find out what's happening next. And then after he's extradited, he'll face, I think he's facing 8 charges in the U.S.
I don't suppose you know why this hearing or who called this hearing in the first place. Was it Sam?
It seems like it. I mean, his attorneys said that his attorney, Jerome Roberts, said he didn't know until several minutes before. The prosecutor said that they didn't call it. The judge was confused. So, the speculation right now is that either Sam called it himself or that his U.S. attorneys may have called for it. But either way, I mean, there's clearly not a lot of communication going on. And I don't know if that's just a thing in the Bahamas, but I don't think in the U.S. you would hear that a defendant was calling for their own hearings without their counsel being aware. So it just seems like pretty chaotic.
Much like how FTX was run, perhaps. All right, Cheyenne, thank you so much for joining us. That was CoinDesk's regulatory reporter, Cheyenne Ligon.